Hi, my name is Melissa Bohme, and this is my AEP858 Module 11 presentation for the Everyday Counts case study. So just looking at the case, we have Mr. Rhodes, who's a new principal, who has been approached by the superintendent and given the task to improve student attendance rates. 695 of the 965 students have missed 10 or more days of school during the first semester alone. And so looking through that information, the principal has identified 5 focus students from the first semester to help identify attendance problems. So looking at some of these students with over 10 absences, the 5 that he picked to look at, we have Karen, who is an 11th grade student who used to be an AB student and was inducted into the National Honor Society last year. This year, her performance is suffering due to high absence rates. She's missed 1 or 2 days randomly, which normally occur on Mondays and Fridays. And she didn't take one of her midterm exams because of her attendance problems. She was just married in August, and her parents have requested conferences with the counselor, but there's no record of the counselor communicating with the student or the parents. Christina's a 9th grade student who is in regular classes. She's missed 4 days in a row during 3 different week periods. She gets letters from her minister that excuses her for out-of-town church meetings, and all of these absences are marked excused by the homeroom teacher. Her grades are now suffering due to her attendance. She has 2 C's and a D. She's missed 2 major algebra exams, and the algebra teacher has requested conferences with the parents. However, there is no documentation of whether or not this has actually occurred. Tyrone is a 10th grade student. He is taking classes from the honors program. He's missed 14 days in the first semester. He missed 5 days to go to Washington, D.C. with his mother, and he missed another week to go to Canada with his father. His parents say that these trips have educational purposes and that he will complete all of his schoolwork as well. These absences are being excused also by the homeroom teacher. Carl's a 10th grade student. He takes regular classes as well as some vocational classes. He misses random days. He was already referred to a truants officer. His parents, when they were met with, do not have a strong support with attendance, and they say if he wants to stay home, he can, and that attendance is really family business. It has nothing to do with the school. His dad did not finish school and has already expressed to Carl that if he doesn't want to finish school, he doesn't have to. He could just go to the workforce. The last one is John. John is an 11th grade football player. He is the school quarterback. He was recently injured but can play as long as he goes to physical therapy, which can only take place on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from 12 to 2:30, so he's missing a good chunk of his afternoon classes. Also, the athletic director has excused every Friday afternoon for this football player to go home and rest before the game. So John is missing 3 days per week during football season. However, none of these absences have been reported as being excessive by any of the teachers. So looking at some other parties that are involved, the parents are not adhering or supporting attendance policies, and they are not contacted by the counselor or any other administration that we know of. They have a long commute to work, and so they cannot support their students' activities that well. The school counselor is playing a very negligible role in resolving issues. There's no record of parent or student communication, or little record of it. The athletic director is favoring athletes and excusing absences. Our teachers are not reporting attendance regularly, and they are excusing absences without input from the administration or school counselors. Community members are encouraging students to miss school by only having appointments that can be scheduled during the school day or having scheduled church activities during that time period also. So looking at some policy and legal doctrines in place, well, the state sees it in the welfare of the student for them to be educated, and so parents have a duty to educate their children. Again, it's vital to the welfare of the state. And so with this, parents must explain student absences if their students are gone. Excused absences for the state and the school board policy is that they're excused if it is an illness, a death in the immediate family, due to inclement weather, or a valid reason approved by the principal. The teachers are required to keep accurate documentation of student attendance, and if the students miss more than 5 days of school, then their grades are penalized. So what are some legal and ethical issues that follow these? Well, the athletic director is favoring athletes and supports absences. This is quite possibly a breach of contract or a form of discrimination or harassment. Teachers are not accurately recording or reporting attendance. This also is a breach of contract. If it is because they're playing favorites, that could also be an act of discrimination or harassment. Teachers are not following local policies about excusing absences. Again, this could be a contract issue. Really, the principal is who is supposed to have the final say on whether or not an absence is excused. Parents are not doing their part of fully communicating absences, and they're not following policies. So a lot of those times, the students have just missed days and there's not a record of why. The counselors do not seem to be communicating with the students or parents about the student attendance or student academic achievement. So academic achievement is being affected by attendance. We're seeing students do poorer in school because of their attendance rates. And students' grades are being penalized for more than 5 excused absences. And so if they're already missing school and doing poorly, we are only hurting them more by taking their grades away. And so this could be an ethical concern. Also, another ethical concern is, what do we consider an excused absence? Is football really more important than church activities? Do you have to have a doctor's note? There's a lot of things that play into that question there. So what is happening? Well, there's a lack of stakeholder concern for school attendance and follow through of district state attendance policies, and is leading to a decrease in student attendance and achievement at Golden Oaks High School. Okay. So looking at the facts from this case, just the people here, the principal is new and is tasked with improving attendance. The teachers are not new. They have usually about 10 years of experience or more, but they are not following attendance policies, but we don't know if these have been explained or if they have access to them. They are not keeping accurate records of attendance, but maybe they don't know how, or maybe this process needs to be simplified or looked at. Our athletic director is favoring athletes and supporting athlete absences. However, we don't know how long this has been going on and if it's ever been addressed in the past. We also don't know if there's a policy that allows students to participate or practice when they're absent, and if not, maybe that's something we should look at. The athletic director is also not following attendance policies, but again, maybe these are not explained well or accessible for them to reference. The school counselor is keeping very little record of communication with students and parents, so they're either not doing it or they are not recording it. But we don't know if they're overworked. We don't know how many there are. We don't know how many duties they have outside of just regular council work. So there's a lot of things about the counselor we do not know. The community members seem to be diminishing the importance of education a little bit. But we don't know if the attendance concerns have ever been shared with the community or if the school has contacted them. We also don't know if the community has good involvement with the school or a positive relationship. We know they're supportive of the football team, but that is about it. The parents are not following attendance policies or supporting education. But again, we don't know if these policies are explained or accessible to them. They also have long commutes to work, so maybe they don't even know their students are missing school if the school is not contacting them. They also may not be able to provide the support and guidance needed of the students. And then we have our students who are missing a lot of school for various reasons. We don't know if there's other patterns in there within the students or what their home life is like. So there's a lot we don't know about our students still. Looking at where this is occurring at Golden Oaks High School. It's a suburban school adjacent to a metropolitan area. There's 965 students. They normally had a very low diversity, but this is on the rise. And most of the families are middle income. There are some poverty, there are some high income, but most of them are middle income families. And again, we have a very high absenteeism problem. This is a public school, grades 9 through 12. They have regular classes, honor programs, vocational program opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for the kids to be involved with 11 sports teams and 31 activities. But we don't know if there's other supports in place for the students, like transportation or MTSS or behavior classes. So a lot of things that we don't know for the school there. Okay. So could the conflict, situation, or decision damage stakeholders of the community? Well, yes, in several different ways. So first of all, if students aren't at school, they may not become educated and they may lack skills that will help them in their future career or schooling. We are helping them form bad habits that make them undependable employees or community members. And then on the other hand, if we do start taking attendance more accurately, we could have more truancy reports. Parents may become more frustrated with the school. Parents may have to take time off work to attend legal proceedings and council meetings, which all can affect the community and the community's culture. Okay. What individual groups have an important stake in the outcome? Well, all school personnel can help improve the situation by following state and district attendance policies and maintaining high expectations for student attendance and achievement. School personnel can also communicate and express their concerns and spread the importance of education and student attendance by communicating with parents and students and even community members. Parents and community members can help improve this situation by encouraging students to go to school because they express their support for education and the attendance of their students. We don't know if all of the relevant stakeholders have been consulted from the information given. It's just not clear. However, it does definitely look like that needs to occur and become more regular. We can definitely learn more information. It wouldn't hurt us to have more information about the school, the community, the demographics, and any other data that helps us find patterns and trends and how they have changed over time. And we don't know if all our policies have been explained to everyone, if they're accessible to people to reference. We don't know how absences are excused, if they have to have a doctor's note, and all of that fun stuff. Do I know enough to make a decision? Well, I can start to make some decisions and implement an improvement plan or start designing one. However, the situation should be monitored, investigated, and continually revised to ensure our growth and our success. So what are some options of action? Well, first I can do nothing. This would be extremely easy. I'd have very little conflict. However, our student attendance and achievement will not increase. Nothing's changing. My job may be at risk and the school may be at risk for not having appropriate attendance. I could take disciplinary action, so I could enforce the attendance policy and reporting. So students and teachers not doing as they should will be reprimanded. This may increase the reporting of attendance and may increase students' attendance. However, there could be a lot of pushback. There could be a lot of teacher turnover. We may lose students. So a lot of negativity. Okay. Another option is I could just communicate with all the stakeholders. So I could meet with school personnel, parents, and other community members to express my concerns and gain feedback. Stakeholders may gain a better understanding of the importance of attendance and education. And so maybe our teachers would take better record. Maybe we would have some people expressing that students should go to school. However, in this process, I'm going to gain a lot of opinions, probably a lot of negative feedback, and nothing may actually happen from it. So another option would be an extensive action. So I could form an attendance committee, gain more information, make necessary changes, train teachers, communicate with stakeholders, and provide them information for the importance and the policies for attendance and education in general. This will help some people feel included in the decision, so they're more likely to follow the policies and procedures. Through training, the teachers will be better equipped to take attendance and understand expectations. The stakeholders may see attendance as being more important and encourage students to attend school. Everyone's informed of policies and are aware of consequences. Again, there may be some pushback. The stakeholders may not feel involved and may feel left out if they're not on the committee. It is a fairly lengthy process, and change and adjustment will take time here. So what choice would I choose? I would choose extensive action because this allows more time to collect and utilize data to inform an improvement plan. The committee can provide multiple perspectives and provide different ideas instead of everything just coming from me. More people are going to feel vested and less likely to push back or act negatively. And this provides necessary information and training to all stakeholders so that everyone's on the same page. We all know the policies and we all know the consequences that will be followed. So how could I take action? Well, immediate action that I would do, I would form this attendance committee of teachers, maybe some community members, maybe some parents. So just a small committee that is geared towards increasing attendance. And so I would want to establish some committee expectations and goals, which are going to follow here. Other immediate action is we can send out information to parents, community members, teachers, staff, and all other stakeholders about the school's attendance concerns and benefits of improving school attendance. I would encourage, support, and monitor teachers and staff to take accurate attendance according to our current procedures and policies, even though those may change in the future. Right now, we just need to start doing a better job at what we are supposed to do. I would survey teachers and other staff responsible for attendance about their knowledge and perspective of current attendance procedures and policies, and also survey parents about their knowledge and perspectives of these attendance policies. Okay. Short-term actions or goals. So this is stuff that as a committee, I would want completed by our second semester. We want to look over our school data and those survey results. We want to identify patterns and trends in attendance. Decide if changes need to be made to our current attendance procedures, how we're taking attendance, and make any adjustments we need to our policy so expectations and consequences are clear and appropriate for our school. Okay. Now, after second semester is complete, for the summer, what do we want to have done? We want to submit these policy and procedure ideas to the school board to get appropriate approval. We want to design teacher training so that when school gets closer, we can start training our teachers for attendance procedures. And we want to design the information that we can distribute to stakeholders to inform them of our attendance policy changes. Following, for the next school year, we want to provide training to teachers, staff, and other school personnel about attendance procedures and policies. We want to make sure that we are clear that the attendance policy will be followed and there will be consequences for not following the policy or not reporting attendance accurately. We want to go ahead and get that information out to the parents and students. This could be done during enrollment about all those changes in our policies. I would want to provide this both printed, like through a handbook at enrollment, but I'd also want to have digital copies of the information, like on the website, that people could access easily and refer to whenever needed. I would set up certain meeting times or different contacts that parents or students could get a hold of or attend so they could ask any questions or get the information that they need. Again, I want to make it clear that the attendance policy will be followed and there will be consequences for not following the policy, and those are all mentioned in the new attendance policy information. I want to send out information to all necessary stakeholders to inform them of the school's attendance policies and expectations the school has for stakeholders to help ensure better student attendance and achievement. And so then throughout the school year, I would want to monitor attendance reporting and attendance rates, enforce the reporting and attendance policies, Encourage and support stakeholders in their attempts to adjust to the change, and communicate with students and parents as needed to address concerns. And resurvey all stakeholders about their knowledge and perspectives about the attendance policies and procedures. So gaining feedback on the changes, how it's working, if we're seeing what we want to see. Okay. If this does not work, well, there's a very high chance. We just need to continue working, continue looking at data, getting more feedback, revisiting all our policies, and just continually making the adjustments and changes we need to fit our school. We also just want to continually stress and communicate with all stakeholders the importance of attendance, and maybe eventually as we cycle through this and keep making the adjustments we need, we can get to a place that we desire to be at. Okay. This is our program standard that this assignment covers. Okay. And I used a presentation template from SlidesGo.